of Ceremonies, Nathan Cassar.
Well, welcome to the Justice Plan TV and podcast show, where we bring you innovative services to make your wedding day extraordinary. I'm your host and professional wedding MC, Nathan Cassar, and today we have a game-changing digital gifting service that every couple needs to know about right now. Joining us today are Lara and Lina Kolokossian, co-managers of the Wishing Well app. The Wishing Well app is revolutionizing the gift-giving experience for couples. With this free app, couples can securely receive gifts while guests can send heartfelt video messages and e-cards. No more worrying about storing cards or feeling guilty about throwing them away. The Wishing Well app ensures that every message and gift is cherished forever. Now, the idea behind the Wishing Well app originated from the personal experiences of two sets of brothers and their wives, Pete and Lina, and Gabe and Lara. Now, they were frustrated one day by the stress and arguments of finding the perfect gift card, and on these particular days, they set out to create a solution. After overcoming challenges and interruptions, the Wishing Well app became a reality, bringing joy to couples and their guests forevermore. In this episode, Lara and Lina will be sharing how couples can strike a balance between traditional gift-giving etiquette and modern approaches. They'll also highlight the key benefits of using the Wishing Well app, providing tips for effectively communicating gift preferences to guests, and they'll explain the app's secure and prompt gift delivery process. And to add an emotional touch, Lara and Lina will hopefully be able to share with us a heartwarming story from a couple who have used the Wishing Well app on their wedding day. Now, folks, if you're ready to embrace the convenience and personalization of digital gifting, this episode is a must listen. Join us as Lara and Lina take us on a journey through the world of the Wishing Well app. Girls, hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
Yeah, good. Really good.
It's fantastic to have you on the show. I just love this because, you know, it's one of those things. Like I'm being European background myself. It's I watch the struggle that people go through at every wedding, where I get at the start of the day, even before I've done my announcements and everything, and people say to me, "Oh, where's the Wishing Well? You know, where am I going to put it?" But it's the ones that come in that are super stressed, and they're like, "I don't have an envelope. I don't know what's going on. I didn't plan this. My whole life is a misery, and I didn't do it. And now my wife's going to kill me." Like all this kind of stuff. And you know, you guys just basically take that all away. What I love is that, you know, your origin story comes out from, you know, seeing something that happened to you, being in that basically that same scenario, and turning that into what is now an amazing brand, an amazing name, by the way, and also just something that, you know, integrates the beauty between convenience of and security with also those beautiful heartfelt messages as well. So tell me, firstly, I'd just love to know, like, what's the journey been like putting something together like this, given that it's new, it's niche, it's not something that the industry is. I mean, there's a couple of them out there, but certainly you do stand tall amongst a very small bunch of competitors. So what has been overall the journey for you as sort of this new entry into the wedding market?
So I think for us, it's really exciting that we have finally launched, because it's been in the works for such a long time. And really, over the last few years, we've just been trying to perfect it to get that perfect balance that you mentioned earlier. Because, you know, with anything electronic, it can come across as cold and transactional, and that's something we really did not want. So that's why we've worked on the features and added things in there to make sure that it is not that experience, and that it's still a heartfelt and warm kind of a personal approach. So now seeing that in action, when we have seen, you know, people using the app and events using it, it's like it actually feels so satisfying. Like it's such a huge achievement for us, because we have all been there. We've been in that situation where you forget a card, you need to cash out, you're fighting with your husband, fiance, partner, or whoever on the way to the event. You get there stressed and unhappy and just not ready to party, you know, because you're just, you know,
writing the card in the car and You know, it just
Oh
sort of,
man, the amount of times my mum did that,
Yeah.
as a kid when I went to all the weddings, like it's the classic story. I make jokes about it when I'm on stage, but at the same time, yeah, you're totally right. It is really a thing. And so taking it into the digital space where it's as simple as downloading the app, or of course, obviously well before the wedding, letting everybody know that this is something that you're using, really, really, is able to transform it all. So like good on you for like seeing that and obviously making it a reality. I can totally see why you both are so proud. Curious though, because I do a lot of weddings, of course, and I see a very like I've entered an era where physical gifts are pretty much very, very on the wayside. If I even see a wedding gift on a table that's physical that I can pick up, I just tell everybody, oh, it's probably just an old toaster that they got the party. But in all seriousness, like that's so uncommon. I'll go weddings upon weddings in a row where no physical gifts are given whatsoever. So that being said, given that now we're talking more or less like the difference between providing that personal card versus the digital stuff, how can couples provide a balance for themselves when communicating this sort of balance between the traditional gift giving and the modern approach of the digital side, particularly when they maybe have a family or set of friends that they're inviting who maybe don't totally resonate with this to begin with? How can they communicate this across the board and strike that balance?
I think that something that is really helpful with that respect is when a couple will let them know what the money is going towards. So asking for money, but then saying it's going towards our honeymoon,
yeah,
a home
house,
deposit.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think just also like communicating, like you just even on the invitations, like we've got the option of the QR code that takes you straight to the app, but then you can always have your like physical wishing well there as well, because there's still that, I guess, generational gap where some people still prefer to give, the cash over using the app as well. So yeah.
But also I think after COVID, which was such a horrible time, everyone's used to using the QR code system. It's not a new concept, so it's not really foreign to anyone anymore. So I think that's benefited us as well, because people see it and they're just like, oh, we know what to do with this.
Exactly.
And it's actually very, very user friendly. So that's a pro too. Yeah. I mean, I think my grandma would probably be able to do it. So, and that's saying something.
Well, that's good. I mean, look, it's great that you've obviously thought about, the lowest common denominator when it comes to technological prowess. So that's obviously, pretty critical, and it's great that it is so easy to use. I mean, you're right. QR codes are pretty much part of, everyone understands the vocabulary of QR code and what that represents these days. So I'm curious though, what is sort of do you have any like use cases where people have like really uniquely presented the app to and the use of the app to their couple, to their guests?
Yes, I think the one where they had the actual QR code they had a gift table, but they had like a welcome sign, and they said, "We know you've probably forgotten your gift, so if you did want to contribute, you can scan here." So like people could do it then and there. And also, I mean, with the link for the a lot of people are doing digital invites these days, and like wedding websites. So the app also provides a link that you can copy and include on those websites. So where you have all your information for your wedding, when it comes to the gifting section, just pop the link there. That also works. So yeah, so that's another way of doing it.
I love that. That's fantastic. It's great that there's so many different avenues that people can come into that space. And so I would like to talk about a bit about sort of that personalization touch as well, because you mentioned that there's the whole video message element to it. So is it done after they pay? Like, as in, so you go through, you give them $1,000 and it says, right, would you like to, provide a little message as well? Is that like, and it just records it and distills it and send it back to them? How does that whole process work?
Yeah, so it's all kind of on the same page when you're on the app, and you've got the option to record your message or write the message and then pop in, the amount that you want to give. So yeah, once that section is all filled out, then you just hit next and it all kind of goes through. So again, really simple. But yeah, the video option there is is just an option. Like we love the idea of it. Personally, like I look back on like my wedding and look at people that, you know, are no longer here, and all I've got is like a card from them. Whereas it's like, wow, if I had a video message, you know, it's something I could keep like playing back on. So yeah, we love that feature. So yeah, it's something, yeah, all on the same page, really easy to use.
Yeah. The other thing as well, if someone didn't want to send a gift, they can still send a video message. So, I mean, when you think of, most people are going to give a gift, but say you've got nieces and nephews or something like that, and they want to record something cute or, you know, send their message, they can do that without sending a gift. That's fine too. And yeah, it's just something, it's just like an added, instead of a guest book or a card, it's that real, you can hear their voices, see their faces, and, you know, bring back all those beautiful memories of your day.
I love that. It definitely gives new meaning to wishing well, as in like, you know, you're wishing them well. I love that.
Right.
That's really, really cool. I like that there's sort of that sort of both sides to it. So yeah, and you know, it's funny at weddings, I find that the wishing well is just this sort of, it is honestly, I'm going to put it out there very bluntly, and I'm sure a lot of wedding planners and venues are going to agree with me by listening to this, especially, it is a pain in the butt. And the reason why it's a pain in the butt is because it's a security risk, obviously. It's but depending on the cultural aspect of how important the wishing well and the money collection is in of itself. Certain cultures have a lot more of an emphasis on that as part of part of the wedding day. It can often be something like, I've been to weddings where either I've had to very carefully monitor the security of the wishing well by ensuring that the security staff, there's actually somebody employed literally just to stand there for 5 hours over it. And look, I understand, like I respect that's just how things work in those cultures, but the beauty of this app just being able to remove all of that, because obviously, you know, the digital security of the gateway partners you're working with to make it all possible is that's where it all sits. You don't have to employ that person. You don't have to assign somebody at the end of the night to make sure they take it all home. You don't have to worry about who's got the key to the padlock, otherwise it gets lost. Then you have to get someone to break it. Like it's just, and of course, like having to buy a physical one as well if the venue doesn't provide it. It just, you know, the amount of possibilities that come out from this just, you know, are incredible. And so the amount of stress and headaches completely disappear. I would love to know, specifically on this set of the topic of security, how do you guys keep things secure?
Yes, so we all the payments and gifts are transferred through Stripe, which is a completely secure and safe payment gateway. It's used by billions of businesses around the world, and we made sure to use a very reputable and trusted company like Stripe for that reason, because we didn't want to be involved with that side of, you know, the gifting process. We wanted to make sure that everything's transparent. It's through a third party. The funds are transferred and it goes straight into the event host bank account. So it's really clean, smooth, secure. And yes, no one has to worry about carrying around wads of cash, who to send it home with, getting it to the bank, you know, while they're supposed to be enjoying their the beginning of their honeymoon period. I think that really, it's an added benefit for us too, because we don't have to stress about that aspect. We know that's covered. Yeah.
Oh, I can imagine that would be a huge headache if it was somehow more on your shoulders with that. So, I mean, that's obviously great to hear, and of course, you know, that's just clever app development as well. So, you know, taking that stress away is a perfectly great idea. So, no, that's fantastic, and I think, you know, it's one of those things that I see so common. I have to have those conversations all the time with people, and being able to take that stress away just makes a lot of sense. I got to ask the question: have you received any resistance for this, as like with any new thing that comes into the market? Has there been any like genuine resistance to something like this?
We've had the opposite, I think, to be honest.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of wedding expos and things like that, and I'd say 99% of people we speak to are just like, wow,
it's kind of like a light bulb moment for them as well. Like, most of the feedback we get is like, how has this not been out there already? Like, it's just like, oh, mind blown. Like, oh, it just makes so much sense. So we've had really good feedback.
And it's one of those things as well that you don't think about your wishing well. You don't really think about gifts in the wedding planning process. It's kind of an afterthought. And it's something that you like, it's like one of those last minute stress things that you know, you just, you're like, oh yeah, I've got to work out the logistics for this and that, and then now I've got a whole bunch of cards, and so it's not something people really draw their mind to. So I think at least if like when they do decide to use the app, they're like, oh yeah, that's done. We don't have to ever worry about it. It's just happening in the background. We just include,
we've done our part.
Yeah, we put it on our invite, and that's it. It's don't have to worry anymore.
Have you been to a wedding already that has had, like, as a guest, that people have been using this?
Yeah,
yes, and it's so
it's
much
the best.
fun. We get so excited. And I mean, I'm going to a christening on Saturday. They're using the app.
Yeah,
we went to a wedding together. Like it's just really fun. And because the people there, whoever knows we're behind it, they're literally like thanking us.
Yeah,
They're like, you made our life so much
easier. Yeah.
That must feel really good, like to know that you've done something that clearly is just revolutionary in that sense, and you're able to provide such a level of convenience to people that they've never experienced before. So, I mean, like, congratulations on something like that. That's just amazing. So, and it's, look, I don't want to leave two people out of the conversation here. Your husbands, of course, have been a big part of this. Tell me a bit more about sort of their involvement, and sort of, obviously, apart from being part of your lives and supporting you as husbands, how have they supported you in the operation of this business and this app?
They've been there like every step of the way. Like, it's definitely a team effort. They've been really involved. Just with the whole development process, and just organizing like expos, events, and all that stuff. So
it's like prior to doing this, like we're very lucky that the four of us are so close. Like we have our group chat is Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
we're just like a dream team as it is. We've always
Adorable.
done so much together, and like we just really genuinely get along. So this has been actually a really fun experience to do with them, and as well. And so it's brought us even closer together.
Well, it sounds like a really cool, really fun business company Christmas party at the end of the year. So,
karaoke in our pajamas.
Oh, I love that so much. No, it's so nice that, like, and I highlight that for, obviously, apart from the fact that it's just a great story, it's also, I want always people to, when they're listening to this, and to as they go along their wedding planning journey, to realize that we actually also are human beings. We are people who, care, in the sense that we care about, obviously, the impact of our service or our product that we provide to the wedding process, but also, we care about each other, and we're real human beings who have feelings and emotions, and really love what we do and the impact we have. So it's nice to hear that, of course, that people are supporting, when they're using this app, they're supporting the four of you who just absolutely love what you're bringing to the mix as well. And it's not just, as people, unfortunately, some people think, there's a wedding tax, which I completely disagree with. It's this, this idea that we're just out we're money hungry people that are just in the industry just to make money. It's like, well, we do enjoy eating the odd steak rather than ramen here and there, although ramen's good too. But also at the same time, we actually really do genuinely love what we do, and there's some smiling faces behind it. I would love to hear if you could share perhaps one or two, testimonials, reviews from couples that you may have received recently about their experience with the app.
Yeah. Which one?
Too many to choose.
So many. Huh?
I think the favorite for me is the first wedding that we ever had. So we hadn't actually even launched properly yet. The app was on the App Store, but we hadn't advertised that it was out. And we just we had a notification pop up that this couple in North Queensland is using the app. And we're like, where did that come from? We were so confused. We were happy dancing. We were so excited. And so we ended up getting in touch with that couple to let them know, well, like, you're the first people that have ever used it. They said, we just did a search on the App Store, found it. It looked great. And they were just so happy with it. They just said it was so easy, so convenient. They said our wedding was really simple and small, and we didn't want, to fuss over anything. And they said that was just like the added little touch that just made things that much easier for us. And I think it's our favorite because it was the first one.
It was the first one. So it was a really positive experience for them, which is which is obviously great for us being, the first wedding. So yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. You really don't forget your first wedding. So
No.
it's that's really nice that it was such a surprise, but also obviously a genuinely great experience. And what a far off place too, Northern Queensland of all places. Like it wasn't like one of the wedding palaces in middle of Sydney. It was like as far away as possible. So
Yeah.
I love that. It really shows that with the digital age, you can really bring you can connect and reach out to as far on places as possible. Is it have you? Let's talk future as we begin to wrap up. Like, I would love to know sort of what's in store. So you already have so many features available. You've already got so many great things in mind to help couples out there to really revolutionize the way they do gifting and that whole process. But what's on the horizon for you both? What are your husbands got planned next for the app and all that?
Depends what annoys them. I think really like adding more functionality in terms of RSVPs, dietary requirements, really making it a one-stop shop for people. So right now it provides guests with an interactive map to the venue. It gives them all the details so they don't have to carry the invitation with them. They you usually forget it at home and then you're calling people saying, where am I going? What time is it? What's going on? But once you've downloaded the app and you've that event has come up, all the details are stored there, so it's so easily accessible. So I think the natural flow would be to add in RSVP, and maybe even couples can put in an event description, but kind of like a wish list thing. So, we're asking for money, but the reason is we want to put it towards this or that, or, make it that much more personal.
Want a new car, want a new handbag, or what It's funny because I do always joke, and I hope some of the audience have been to my weddings before. Whenever I start my intro, one thing I love to joke about is the fact that the wishing well is basically just a way for guests to pay for the wedding. And it's funny because realistically it kind of is in a way. Like obviously it's not, but like you are in effect, helping obviously the couple to recoup some funds that they've spent on the big event. But I guess it's nice too that you can create this sort of digital ledger of who gave what. I know that in European culture, we I often joke about this too, about how essentially that's sort of like a mini economy, because you end up going, oh, okay, so Steve and Brian gave us, or whoever gave us like $100. So then when we go to their wedding or their christening, we need to give $100 back. And then it also gets shifted around. And when you lose that or you forget the cards, or trust me, I've been there where, like at my brother's wedding, where mum was like, okay, so who was that? Oh, yes, Mary. Okay, $100.
That's literally why we've got the gift summary in there, to be honest, because we've been through it. We've been there. So
my list is still on notes on my phone. So
you're tallying off like, okay, all right, good. It's like a little mini debt ledger, you've just got to give
you've got to consider, everything's a bit more expensive now.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you gotta give them 10% more because of inflation now. So they go, really, $100? Well, you gave me the $100 back in 2010, and now it's worth $110. Like, oh, that's great. But no, I look, in all seriousness, I do truly love what you guys are doing. I think it's really innovative. I'm big on innovation and creativity, of course, being in what I do in the business. So I can really love and appreciate when there are 4 passionate individuals like yourselves who are out there really at the forefront of the industry, coming up with something that really helps couples to revolutionize the way that they do things with, as you said, something that often really gets forgotten about, is an afterthought, but then becomes a real pain in the butt on the day itself, when you realize, oh damn, I've got to figure out who's going to take it and everything else. So it's that's just fantastic. We have run out of time, unfortunately, but before we go, how can couples access this? How can they find you? Tell us.
So you can download the app on the App Store or Google Play. So just type in the Wishing Well app and it'll come up. Follow us on Instagram. Wishing.well.app, and get in touch with us. We're real humans behind it. So if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to reach out. We're more than happy, to hear from people. So yeah.
Love it. Final question. When you're not watching your dashboards and your Excel sheets and all the other stuff in the App Store, metrics and everything else like that, and answering couples questions and all that kind of fun stuff, what do you do in your free time?
We've got a bunch
if you
of
have
kids.
free time.
So keeping them busy and entertained. Yeah, I think that would be.
Yeah, maybe an hour of Netflix at night before bed.
If we're lucky.
Fair enough. What are you watching at the moment?
I'm watching Gilmore Girls for like the 10th time. So
I'm rewatching Desperate Housewives. Can you tell we don't like change?
Oh wow, gee, that's I mean, maybe I expected that kind of answer. I don't know. Are the guys happy about that, or they got their own account? They're watching like something, more up their alley.
I get an over the shoulder. What are you watching? And like he's a little bit more into it than he admits.
Yeah,
they're
into it.
Yeah. I don't not believe you there. My dad, my mum will watch, maths out, for instance, and then but they'll be both watching it and they'll both talk about it. But he'll deny it if you ask him to his face. He says, "No, I don't enjoy it. I'm doing my computer work when that happens." Oh yeah, really? Are you, Dad? Okay, yeah, all right. Well, Lara, Lina, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here today. Thank you so much for what you do, and of course for sharing your insights and for providing such an amazing service. I hope that every wedding I do from now on features yours, because it's going to be a bit of a strain taken off my back as well, of course, apart from the couples that I'm hosting. But I wish you all the very best and can't wait to see how your app continues to grow in the future.
Thank you so much. It was nice chatting to you.
Well, there you have it. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Just As Planned TV and podcast show. We hope you enjoyed this episode and found some valuable insights and tips to help you plan your dream wedding. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button on our channel and turn on notifications to stay up to date with our latest episodes. And if today's episode has inspired you in your own wedding journey, feel free to let us know in the comment section, or simply send through any burning questions you may have to hello@justasplanned.com.au. We wish you all the very best in planning your big day, and we hope your wedding goes just as planned.